Hoosier Trapper Outdoors is brought to you by Hoosier Trapper Supply. Visit HoosierTrapperSupply.com for all your trapping needs, including Charlie Machek's Leatherwood Creek trapping scents and Hoosier Trapper deer scent.
All right, welcome to episode 7, season 13, Hoosier Trapper Outdoors. We'll continue with the Texas trapline. After our plentiful catch of porcupines, we'll hopefully get back on track. After we get done with the Texas line, we'll go with semi-live here in Indiana. We'll have Matt and Jared back, Justin and I, and maybe Jake will get out and do some local trapping, and we'll put that up. So that'll all be Midwestern farm ground trapping, which a lot of you can relate to. I want to mention the Trap House podcast. Last one we did was with Isaac with Carolina Coyote. Haven't had a chance to listen to that. You might give it a listen. It's a good podcast with a young guy that's ambitious about trapping, so good to see. I want to mention the bottle contest, the social bottle contest. All the information is on the homepage of the website. Basically, you get an opportunity to win a $100 Hoosier Trapper Supply gift card. We have some for trappers, we have some for deer hunters. Just take a picture of yourself with your success with the bottle that you use. So in other words, if you killed a big buck and you were using lip, or didn't even have to be a big buck. If you killed a deer using lip lick or deer lure or whatever, get a picture and get them submitted in. So the contest works off a drawing. So we'll do a drawing mid-March, but all the information's on the homepage of the website. I want to mention real quick, Indiana trappers, make sure you get on the Natural Resource Commission website and put a positive comment in about the Bobcats, proposed Bobcat season. We can't let up. We've got to keep on it. So if you've already commented, you don't need to do it again. But for those of you that haven't had a chance, be sure to get that in, and we will have a link below in the newsletter that we'll send out. So I think that's it. Hope you enjoy the show.
All right, check day 8. It's been a really slow 2 days, and maybe we're working on another slow 3 days because we're not catching coyotes, but this is what we're catching today.
That doesn't look like a coyote.
No. I know hogs are super invasive in Texas, but so I'm sure they're glad to get rid of it. You want to show them what's going on behind us, Justin? Look, we're racing the weather.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully the weather though starts moving the coyotes a little bit more, and they start showing up in our traps.
Yeah, hopefully.
So check D8. Let's keep it rolling.
Yep. All right, here's a remake on the hog set. This particular trap's got raccoon and a hog. This location has produced 3 raccoons, 1 hog, and 1 coyote.
All right, check day 8. Still rolling. First coyote today. What did we catch earlier?
Actually, the first coyote in 3 days. This is the 3rd day, and we finally caught a coyote, right?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if everyone...
2 days. We did catch one. So we blanked out yesterday on coyotes, first time.
Yeah, like we were saying, we believe a lot of that has to do with what the weather's been doing. But as you see right now, it's actually sprinkling. It rained heavy earlier. I think a front came in, maybe start stirring these guys up a little bit more and running the roads a little harder.
So we're kind of hoping tonight might be better. So this is a coyote on the high lonesome.
Yeah, it's wide open as far as you can see. It's pretty cool. But then back over here, it dips off down in a canyon area, and there's a riverbed down there. Pretty neat. Right here we had Top Dog, Jet Fuel, Bobcat urine. And as far as the remake, looks like I'm gonna have to repunch a hole. He's got it totally blown out. I got some Mighty Dog with me. I'll probably put that in the hole and use something else, maybe a Coyote Carnage or a Vixen Elixir. So dress it back up and move on down the line. All right, got the remake done here. Charlie went and found me a rock to use for backing. He had this all blew out pretty good. Mighty Dog in the hole, like I said. I ended up going with Predator Seducer for some lure. A little bit of Bobcat urine, we're gonna call that good. Nice and blended. Hopefully we get another one to come through. Coyotes, you know, even this time of year, the fur isn't too bad on what we've been catching. There's been a few that were
definitely
marginal,
better than last year.
Yes, we're bringing plenty of them back home, so that's a plus. And this being one of them, not bad. So
He looks a little rough because he's wet.
Yeah.
He got rained on this morning.
Yep. But yep, check day 8 continues. We still got plenty of traps to check, so wish us luck and stay posted.
So the countdown is 1 coyote, 1 hog.
Yep. That doesn't look like a coyote to me, Charlie.
Nope.
We got a skunk.
Yeah, we don't have the skunk sleeper with us, so
Oh man.
this is called shooting them with the 22, which means guaranteed to spray.
Yep. Stay upwind when you have to do this, and you should be okay.
The thing is, you caught it in the road. You just have to drive that way.
Proudly offering some of the world's finest small batch coffee, while supporting responsible trapping and sound conservation. Available at traplinecoffee.com. Never be without great coffee.
First time for everything. We got a Bobcat here, a cotton, jet fuel, Mighty Dog, some Bobcat urine. Nice. But here's the first thing. I've never seen this before. We got a porcupine up here chilling in the tree. He's up here eating the bark. We've caught, what, 5 porcupines on this trip, Charlie?
Yeah. Fortunately, this was not the 6th.
I'm glad he was up there and not in this trap. He might have been in this trap if the cat probably wasn't already in it. Who knows? Cool. Check day 8, guys.
Yep.
It's turning around for us.
Yep. Turn it around.
We'll take care of this. I'll show you the remake when it's done. And we'll move on out. Alright, just finished up this Bobcat remake. Found the original hole. Got some Mighty Dog down in there. Pissed some Coyote Carnage as a relure on remakes. I like doing that quite often. Didn't do any Bobcat urine. There's plenty here. He actually left some scat behind. So lots of smell, lots of eye appeal. Hopefully another one traveling through we can pick up. Porcupine's still hanging out in the tree. He didn't go far.
The audience is still here.
Yep. You can see why we picked this location. I don't know if Charlie can back up a little bit without stepping in his own trap. But we're kind of hemmed in on these 2 little rolling hills, and it's just a good pinch down funnel point. I was on one side, Charlie was on the other, and just got them covered. There's already a cattle trail, game trail running down through here, and a couple different fingers that run off and through all this brush that goes down to the bottoms. So it's just a good location. Paid off. So hopefully we got plenty of time to catch something else that comes through here.
You already know what you're going to catch next.
Porcupine.
All right, check day 8 continues. So coyote number 2 for the day. So definitely coming together after the past couple really slow days. So kind of nice to have a bright spot day. My guess is it's just the weather change. We had a front come through, rain this morning, light rain, just got this stuff moving a little bit. So it's very dependent on the weather what these animals do in terms of movement and how hungry they are, all of that. So when it gets up to 70, 71 during the day, and and nights don't get super cold, they're just not burning much energy. So anyways, it's good to see, and hopefully this continues. We'll have 3 more check days after today, so we're, it's winding down, but we'll see how things go. So we'll keep you posted for the rest of check day 8. All right, here's the remake. It was pretty dug up. I actually had to fill the hole in where he dug down, and just kind of remade it the best I could. Black gold, top dog, and no urine added.
Hags Trapping Products by J3 Outdoors, the most versatile and efficient trapping devices on the market.
So this is our trap box for when we're on trips, and because we have these side windows on the side of our camper shell, it works perfect. We used to use totes, and that was a disaster. I mean, it wasn't a disaster, but once you started going through the totes, then you had all these empty totes, and you try to stack them up. It was great for organization initially, but it wasn't that great in the scheme of things. It seemed like a better idea than it was. So I built this box, and essentially it's just a plywood box. I don't remember what they call it. It's like a 3/4 inch plywood. And of course it's got reinforced in the middle there. But essentially there will be 10 dozen MB550s essentially on this side, and we have 6 dozen drags on the other side. All of the weight is up against in the center of the truck, so it's not sitting on the tail end of the truck, and then everything's in one place. And then when we pull, everything can go in here. When we pull, we take the traps that are have caught, or what we would consider contaminated, and keep those on the sides outside the box, so everything in the box can actually be reused on the next trip. And then the ones that are contaminated on the exterior of the box will retreat, and they can go back in the mix. But we have, I can't think of a better way than this to take traps on a trip or take traps on a trap line. That is assuming you have these side windows to access this box. Otherwise, you're going to have to come up with something more on the tailgate end. The weight is always an issue. But with this, it's distributed and everything's just fine. So it works really well. As far as what else we typically have, we work out of toolboxes. So, and we've got a little bit of overkill here, but we've got a toolbox basically that's got lure and bait in it. Here, we've got a toolbox there that has urine in it, coyote, bobcat, primarily on this trip, and sometimes we'll have some fox in there as well. This toolbox is basically, it's just miscellaneous tools, backup equipment, stakes, we got backup sod busters, backup trowels, wire cutters, all that kind of stuff, sifters in there. And then that toolbox over there is all our skinning stuff, which we've used for years. So
Skinning box.
right. And then our equipment sits back here on the end. I will say that when we make a catch and we've got carcass animals, it's not perfect or ideal, but we make it work. They typically go on the sides, both sides, if we're keeping a lot of stuff. And then this, what do you call this thing right here, Jake?
It's an emergency jump starter, but it's got a inverter so we could plug a freezer in if we wanted to. It's got an air compressor built in. Emergency equipment, must have.
Right, jump your vehicle, the whole thing. Of course, we had a flat tire the other day, and we realized our tire patch kit was not in the truck, so we went and got one of those. But we've been in some. Most of the time, when you're trapping, you're in fairly remote areas. When we were in New Mexico, I don't know, 2 years ago or whenever the last time we were there, or 3 years ago, we were in an area that was, it was crazy remote, and it was very rough terrain. And I just thought, man, if we had a problem out here,
you'd have to give somebody a wave point, assuming you could do that to get in there to get you out. I mean, it was, so we thought, this is almost $300, but it's just good peace of mind. And Jake is kind of a mechanic and builds cars and stuff, so he has found it invaluable to have at home in the barn. So it doesn't just get used on the trip. In fact, it's used more at home than it does here, but it's got a lot of multi-use to it. But it's just, like I said, it's just good peace of mind when you're in these areas that are remote where you can help yourself. So we typically carry a shovel, some hatchets, that kind of thing. Got a chain, we got a tow strap,
We got our jack.
we got a good jack.
Of course, the spare tire.
So that's kind of everything in a nutshell as to what we take on a trip. Like I said, we take a lot of lure and bait with us. We have quite a bit of urine. We could probably actually put these 2 in 1, but you just never know how much you're going to go through if you got a ton of wet weather, or who knows, if we run into another trapper, sometimes we'll give him a jar of bait. So anyways, that's kind of what we do in terms of the truck. But the main thing I wanted to show you was this box, because that's working out quite well, and keeping everything organized as the best we can. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. Hopefully you got some windows on the side of your camper shell. If you don't have a shell on at all, this would work just fine, just like it is. So one thing too, on this box, we've got a board right here that actually goes on top of the box. So when we're traveling, we can put stuff on the box here. The box is completely full with equipment, but the board can go up here, and then we can put stuff up on top, because our freezer's going to go in here too when we're traveling. So we've got it down in a dozen years of doing this. In a dozen years of doing this, we've got it down to this is kind of the most organized we can be. So
Yeah. We even put our clothes and stuff up here on the cargo rack. He's got a bag that usually is in there. We can put all our clothes. It makes it a little easier for traveling too.
So right now, yeah, we've got our spare tire up there, and we've also carry our additional bag of cover holes or 2 up there on top, just to keep them out of the space in the interior of the truck. So hopefully there's some ideas there that you all can use, whether you're taking a trip or trapping around home or whatever. If we're trapping around home and we're only using a couple dozen traps or a couple dozen sets, and maybe you only got, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 farms set up, we will use the totes that just have the traps in them. But when we're on a trip and we're going to take 10 dozen traps with us, this trip we had 115, which is 5 traps shy of 10 dozen. But we'll use the box. It's just definitely the best way to go in terms of organization, just making things as easy as possible and as efficient as possible. So one more thing too, super simple, super kind of obvious. We started putting cardboard down. It kind of gives us a little bit of cushion, particularly if you got to get in there on your knees. This stuff right here is terrible. If you're kneeling on the back of the truck, it also keeps stuff from sliding around. Stuff doesn't slide near as easily. And then blood or whatever gets on it when we get home, we can just pull it out and put new cardboard in. So that was one more thing I wanted to mention, that we just started doing that in the past couple of years. So it just one more thing just to kind of make things a little bit easier. Okay, Indiana trappers, I hate to sound like a broken record, but we have got to be very proactive on this Indiana Bobcat trapping proposal. So the way this works is the legislature is requiring the DNR to have a season for 2025 with a proposed quota of 250. So those opposed to the season are out in force, and they are suggesting a quota of 0, which is not the intent of this at all. But that is something that, since if the quota is proposed, it could potentially end up as a 0 quota. So essentially, we're having a season, but we can't catch any because you're not allowed to catch any above 0. So anyways, go to the NRC site, the Natural Resource Commission site. Justin's going to put a link below, and you'll just click on that, scroll down, and you just put in there that you are in favor of having a Bobcat season in Indiana, and that that's all you have to do. So we just need as many favorable comments as possible, As I said, the opposition is out in force. So we all got to stick together on this, whether you live in northern Indiana and you're outside of the counties that won't have a bobcat season, whether you are a hunter and you don't have any interest or not inclined to trap a bobcat. We all need to stick together on this, and we'll get through it. I promise you that the majority of the people that are probably commenting opposing this are probably in more urban counties, Marion County, etc., that aren't going to be affected by a bobcat season either, or not even be affected. They don't have bobcats in the area that they live. Also, if you don't think this will have an effect, in 2018 they had proposed the season. In 2019 the proposal was withdrawn because of the public outcry against it. So it's very possible that this could end up not with the intent of the original law. So anyways, get those positive comments in.
Top dog predator bait. Success speaks for itself.